Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into a question that people have been asking for, well, thousands of years, and it comes from some pretty ancient Buddhist wisdom. The question is simple. What is the greatest miracle? Now, I know what you might be thinking, but the answer we're going to uncover today is probably not what you expect.
But really, just for a second, think about it. What pops into your head? Is it flying? Maybe walking right through a solid wall? Or what about having complete control over fire and water? These are the kinds of epic things we see in movies and read about in stories. And if that's what you thought of, well, you're in good company.
Let's travel back in time, over 2 millennia ago. We're in a scene from what's known as the Great Heap of Jewels Sutra. And in this story, a curious figure, the Lord of Merchants, comes up to the Buddha himself. He wants to know how the Buddha uses miracles to teach people. And that one simple question kicks off this incredible mind-bending dialogue.
So what's the Buddha's first response? Well, he starts by laying out what you might call the standard package of miracles. These are the big, impressive wonders, the kind of thing that's designed to inspire some serious awe and get people to listen up.
Okay, so first up, you've got the miracle of proclamation. This is basically the ability to see the future, to know exactly how our actions, our karma, will play out. Then there's the miracle of exhortation, which is about giving perfect moral advice, knowing precisely what someone needs to do to get on the right path. And finally, number 3, the one we were all just thinking about, the miracle of supernatural power.
And when we talk about supernatural power, the scale here is just staggering. We're talking about turning one body into a crowd, passing through mountains like they're ghosts, shooting fire from your head and water from your feet, even walking on water, touching the sun and the moon. And get this, expanding your body to fill the entire cosmos. I mean, these are absolutely incredible, reality-bending abilities. But is that all there is?
Even after hearing about all of these amazing feats, the Lord of Merchants asks this really important follow-up question. He says, is there a miracle that can surpass even these? It's like he has a gut feeling that there's something more, something even deeper than just bending the laws of physics.
And this is where the whole conversation takes a huge turn. Instead of answering himself, the Buddha turns to Manjushri. Now, in Mahayana Buddhism, Manjushri is the literal embodiment of profound wisdom. So by passing the question to him, the Buddha is basically saying, to get this next answer, we need to go to a whole different level of understanding. So here we go. We're about to get a complete redefinition of what a miracle even is. And spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with manipulating the world out there. It's all about tackling the impossible landscape of language and reality itself.
Manjushri starts by just upping the ante completely. He says, look, you think touching the sun is impressive? Imagine holding all the water of all the oceans in the palm of your hand without even disturbing a single fish. That's an amazing worldly miracle, he says, but it's still not the greatest one. The greatest miracle, he explains, is to use something like words, these flawed, limited little tools, to point towards a truth that can't be named, can't be described, and is totally beyond expression. And this quote just nails the central paradox. Think about it. How can you possibly talk about no self, a core idea that there's no permanent, separate me, when our entire language is built on words like I, me, and you? The true miracle is using the language of separation to point to a reality of interconnectedness. It's using the vocabulary of solid things to hint at an ultimate truth that is fluid and empty of those concepts. So that's the real heart of it. The greatest power isn't about changing the physical world. It's about building a bridge between our minds, which think in concepts and labels, and a reality that has no concepts or labels at all. It's the act of trying to describe the indescribable, which of course leads to a pretty big question. Why is that so darn hard for us to get?
Right. If this is the ultimate miracle, why does it so often fall on deaf ears? Manjushri's explanation is fascinating. He says the problem isn't with the teaching itself. The problem is with us, with the very way we're wired to see the world.
In Buddhism, the building blocks of our experience are called the 5 skandhas, or the 5 aggregates. You've got your physical body, your feelings, your perceptions and labels, your mental habits, and your basic awareness. All these things bundle together, constantly changing, to create this powerful illusion of a solid, stable me. And it's this very illusion that the great miracle tries to see through.
In this table really lays out the fundamental conflict. On one side, you have what our ego, built from those aggregates, desperately wants to believe, that things are permanent, that they can bring us lasting happiness, and that we have a solid, real self. But on the other side, the teaching of the Dharma points to the exact opposite. Everything is impermanent. Clinging is a source of suffering, and there's no fixed, separate self to be found.
So, the reason we don't believe in this miracle is actually pretty simple. It's emotional attachment. We are so deeply invested in the story of me, my thoughts, my feelings, my life, that when a teaching comes along and says that story isn't as solid as you think, our first instinct is to reject it. We can't hear the miracle because we're too busy protecting the illusion.
But the story doesn't end with our disbelief. Because the Lord of Merchants, the one who asked the question in the first place, has been listening to all of this, and he's about to have a massive breakthrough.
A light bulb just goes off for him. He has this incredible realization. He says, wait a minute, if the miracle is using limited words to point to a limitless reality, then isn't every single conversation about anything a miracle? Every book, every talk, every attempt to explain something, it's all us trying to perform this impossible, miraculous feat.
And Manjushri just smiles and confirms it. So it is, so it is. He agrees completely. Every single time we try to communicate, we're performing this great miracle. We're using words that are, in the ultimate sense, empty of fixed meaning, to point to reality that's also empty of our concepts. And in that beautiful, impossible attempt, something incredible happens.
And that's what I want to leave you with. If this ancient story is onto something, then maybe the greatest miracles aren't about changing the cosmos. Maybe they're much closer to home. Maybe a miracle happens every single time we truly listen to someone, every time we struggle to find just the right words to explain how we feel, and every time we actually connect with another person through this imperfect, beautiful, and miraculous thing we call language.